Hey, what's up? I'm Ashley. Thank you for watching this video. And today we're going to be talking about Gentleman Jack, Season 2, Episode 7. And let's get started. Because there's a lot of family drama going on surrounding this division of the estate. We got Captain Sutherland on one side, Ann Walker on the other, Elizabeth in the middle, Captain Sutherland's wife and Ann Walker's sister. And then we got Ann Lister over there on the side too, acting like she don't got nothing to do with it, but she continue putting in her 2 cents. She's always like, this doesn't have anything to do with me, but then again, this is what I would do. Girl, she a mess. Captain Sutherland has finally figured out that it's Ann Lister who's been telling Ann Walker what to write in her letters. He was telling Elizabeth, look, just listen. This doesn't sound like your sister. This got Ann Lister all up and through it. Ann Walker wants this division of the estate over and done with, but Captain Sutherland is over here stalling, holding up progress. And since Elizabeth made a settlement on her husband back in 1831, is the reason why Anne has to keep talking to him so much in these letters and not her. And that's why Anne is taking legal action over this. She's talking about hiring lawyers because she's not dealing with her sister. She's dealing with her sister's husband. But they are at each other's throats over this will. One write a letter, the other one write back. One write a letter, the other one write back. Ann Walker wants him to come on down so they can figure this whole thing out. But Captain Sutherland is like, I'm not going anywhere until my wife is able to. She's pregnant. We're not going nowhere until she gives birth. But the last straw is when Ann Walker wrote a letter to Captain Sutherland telling him that the Crow Nest deeds have been at Shibden for some weeks now. He hopped up out his seat so fast, I thought he was about to push out a brick. He went straight to his wife, but he couldn't even get out any words. He was shook. And so after he told his wife about the deeds being at Shibden, he went to the room and started writing Mr. Parker a letter. He said in that letter that he has no issue on dividing the estate equally, and that he said that he was going to come down there once his wife gave birth and if the weather wasn't too bad to do so. But I found out this morning from Miss Walker that the deeds that I put in the bank have been taken out of the bank and has been at Shibden. I don't blame Miss Walker for this, but I do blame the ones with selfish, wicked, and unnatural motives, insinuating that it's Ann Lister and that it's Ann Lister behind all of these letters, and it was her idea to get lawyers involved, not Ann Walker's, and that hiring all of these lawyers could be some kind of attack on him, Mr. Parker. Oh, Lord, y'all, what y'all thinking? What is going on? And then he said, I said I wasn't going to come down there until my wife could, but once my son get over this woofing cough, we gonna head straight down there and figure this thing out. Captain Sutherland thinks that Ann Lister is making a fool out of Ann Walker and taking advantage of her. He said he was just trying to help Ann Walker. This is too much. Let me know what y'all think about this whole thing. Do y'all think that Captain Sutherland was really trying to help Ann Walker? And because of this whole division of the estate, there's more consequences that's on top of it. Like all of these properties that they have need to be vacated before anything can even take place. A day school needs to be vacated. A Sunday school needs to be vacated. And the cottage of the person who runs the Sunday school needs to be vacated. And the people who are in charge and run this whole day school, Sunday school, and all of that are Ann Walker's cousins, William and Eliza Presley. So they ain't gonna even have no job, which I don't care about them having no job. That's what they get. But Mr. Washington had to be the messenger and deliver the news. And that's how they found out that there's going to be a formal division of the estate, which is why everybody got to be vacated. And once Mr. Washington leaves, the Presleys automatically blame everything on Ann Lister. One thing I don't appreciate is how Ann and Ann wanted to have a good time out on the town, going shopping and whatnot, but Mrs. Rawson got to stick her nose into some business that don't even belong to her. Look at them. They was looking good, laughing and smiling. And then here come Mrs. Rawson talking about, I can't believe you have the audacity to show your face in public after what you did to your family, especially your auntie. And now with this humiliation that you've put on your cousin, Mrs. Presley, involving this Sunday school, you should be ashamed. Left Ann standing there looking shook and embarrassed. And when they got back home, Ann Lister mentioned Mrs. Rawson to Ann, and Ann was like, don't you ever mention that lady's name around me ever again. Ann said, what did I tell you about talking to me like that in front of the servants? But Anne didn't care. She didn't even apologize. She looked at her and said, "So are you going to help me right back to Captain Sutherland or what?" But Ann Lister was speechless. She didn't even know what to say. She looked at us in the camera. I'm like, "Girl, I don't know what to tell you, girl. That's your woman." But she sure did go in the other room and help her figure out what she was going to write back to Captain Sutherland. So now, because the schools are going to be vacated and they don't have a Sunday school teacher anymore because she's somehow fallen ill, Anne and Anne have to go teach the class just until they can find someone to take over. But they looked like they did a good job. Ann Walker was over here reading out of her book to the class. And then we have Ann Lister over here doing some mathematics on the board. But Big Mouth Girl, who saw both Anns kissing in the house that day and acted like she was traumatized, told a classmate that she saw Ann Lister snugging, I guess that means kissing, and Walker in the house. There was no need for you to do that, girl. There was no need for you to turn around and start blabbing your mouth to this girl talking about what you saw. Meanwhile, she over here looking mesmerized herself by Miss Lister, over there gazing into her eyes while she up there teaching. Look at her with her hand rested on her face, looking like, "What's next? Tell me more, 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 more." This whole thing is going to spread like wildfire. Everybody's going to know their business. Everybody's going to know that they were snugging up in the house. But I want to see more scenes between both Anns like this. They was talking about going to London and how Ann Walker has always hoped to see lords and ladies when she goes to London. And Ann Lister kisses her on her shoulder and she's like, "One day, if you're very good." I said, "Oh!" And the way that she kissed her on her shoulder, I said, "Oh." In the season finale, they better give us more than a 60-second scene like this, okay? During that scene, they were also talking about how they caught Eugenie and Matthew getting it in the corner outside. And Lister said, "Go home." But Ann Walker thought it was funny. And it was. And loosen up, lighten up, have some fun. She's always so serious. They don't want to be in the house working all day. Work hard, play hard. They deserve a treat. But because they got caught, Ann Lister talking about she gonna fire Eugenie. She gave her a 1 month's notice. And Eugenie was like, "Well, what about Matthew?" The double standard here. But Ann was telling her sister, Marianne, that they can't get rid of Matthew just yet because they don't have anyone to take his place. And I said, "What?" So Ann and Marianne are trying to figure out what to do with this whole situation. But then Eugenie went back to Ann and she asked her, would she still have to leave if her and Matthew got married? And Ann looked at her and she was like, "Y'all really want to get married?" Because she don't believe them. But Matthew and Eugenie was telling Ann that Matthew is going to inherit this farm that his father gave him once the tenants in there leave. So then after that, they'll be able to leave Shibden together and get married. And still not buying it, but she's going along with it. So now Eugenie can stay at Shibden. She don't have to leave up out of there in a month. And Ann is still trying to get her hotel and casino together. Her father doesn't think this is a good idea. He thinks that she's going to ruin herself and the family. She's still borrowing all of this money and she's still trying to get a license without going through her rival, Mr. Rawson. She don't want to deal with him. She's looking into doing business with this man named Mr. Harper, who's already built a whole street in York. So he knows what he's doing. So he came over to Shibden to work out a proper plan with Ann Lister. And when he got there, he was about to pass out. He said he forgot to eat. Ann said, "You can't be forgetting to eat." She called in the servant real quick, hooked him up with a whole 4-course meal. Look at her. Look how she ran and got that chair. She like he too important to pass out. And when she found out that his brother was a lawyer, she said, "Oh, really?" So we have a lot of things that need to play out in this season finale. Like, is this whole hotel and casino gonna fall through for Ann Lister? What about her coal? Is everybody about to find out that both Anns were snugging? What does Captain Sutherland think he about to do when he get down there? Is he about to take the deeds back? Will we finally get done with this whole estate? And will we get a wedding between Eugenie and Matthew? Will Mariana pop up and spill the beans to Ann Walker about what her and Ann Lister did when she went to go visit? Did she put that wedding announcement in the paper? Who did it? And what's going on with Ann Walker's shoulder? We keep seeing Ann Lister rubbing on it the whole season. What's going on with it? Let me know what y'all think is going down in this season finale in the comments. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.